Boombayey, everybody. This is Terry Foster with the Terry Foster Boombayey Podcast. And a lot of people, we've gotten some feedback on the podcast, and people said they want inside stories inside the locker room and stuff like that. I will give you one right now. When I was doing the show, Valenti and Foster on 97 Won the Ticket, we had a famous show in which Ndamukong Suh, after he came back from suspension, was on our show. He was a regular guest. He was on every week. It was something he didn't want to do, but he was paid, so he did it. There was a famous show we had where Ndamukong Suh was not happy with the questions. And the end of it came, I asked him about the accident that he was involved in. And Ndamukong Suh didn't want to answer the question. And then Mike said, it's obviously you don't want to answer any questions, so why do we even have you on here? So Ndamukong Suh got all upset, and he said, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for having me on, but I don't think I want to continue the show. He hung up on us. That was it. Bam.
At least he didn't choke you out.
Yeah. He didn't choke. Well, he couldn't do over the phone lines. He couldn't choke me out. So one of my practices as a journalist is if I say something maybe derogatory about an athlete, or an athlete might be upset with me, I always go to the locker room within the next 2 to 3 days. I figure, let him have his shot. If he wants to tell me off, let him do it. If he wants to choke me out, let him do it. If he wants to stomp me, let him do it. So the day after the show, when Ndamukong Suh hung up on us, I went out to the Lions locker room. And just, not to be confrontational, but if you wanted to say something to me, fine. So I go to the room. It was an off day. It was a practice. And so I saw Sue. So I know he was going to go and take a shower and everything, so I stood near the locker room, just in case he wanted to say something to me. And he got up to go to the shower, and I tried to say, hey, Sue, which I did. I kind of said, hey, Sue, and what I'm saying basically, if you want to tell me off, go right ahead. He did. He just blew right through me, didn't acknowledge me, didn't look at me, just went boom right into the locker room.
Now would you rather have him tell you off instead of just walk?
If you want to tell me off, go ahead, tell me off. And sometimes athletes will tell you off, but their tack a lot of times is, I don't read you. I don't know what you wrote about me. I don't know what you said about me. He knew what I said about him.
Belittle you a little bit.
Yeah. So he just blew me off.
It's shocking because he's such a polite, nice guy. That's really shocking he would do that.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, he could have cussed me out.
Oh, yeah.
I've been cussed out before by people who are nicer than him, but that was okay.
Who was your top cuss out? Go into that story now. Let's hear.
Oh, man, how about the most recent week?
Okay.
Recent, believe it or not, and this is a few years ago, was from Rod Marinelli. Rod Marinelli.
No. He pounded the rock?
Yeah. He pounded the rock.
Your pad level not correct.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. He mentioned pad level. He was mad about stuff I wrote about him, and I'm like, Rod, I mean, you're not a good coach. Your team is not good. Why are you mad? And during the time where he used 4-letter words to tell me off. He said, I swear, the guy's pad level's a little high. Once we get that corrected, this team is going to be good.
Oh, I love that pad
And
level.
I did not laugh, but I snickered. I went,
yeah.
It's hard for me not to at least snicker when somebody's talking about pad level. And I told the story here before about how we would go to press conferences and Rod Marinelli would just say, guys, our pad level was a little high. And I told that to some players, and some players said, he tells us the same thing. He said, guys, I thought the effort was good. We did some good things and X's and O's. Our pad level was a little high, blah, blah. He really believed that. So this man is cussing me out. UMF wrote this about my team and me. That's not fair. Our pad level was high. And I snickered.
Yeah. But Terry, everybody in that town was ripping Rob Marinelli. So he must have had a day for everybody.
Yeah, he did.
And I would picture him to be a man when he's yelling at you. A lot of saliva to be spit out of his mouth.
No,
wow.
It was really low key. It wasn't loud.
Oh, okay.
It was like, look here. Here's what's going on here. I don't appreciate some of the things. It was a muffled cussing out.
So you kind of
know you cuss somebody out. I hate you, you MF. Don't you ever speak to me again. His was more like, look, MF. Pad level's a little high. We're gonna get it together, and you're gonna eat your words.
Someone whispers MMF to me. I'm going, well, what the hell?
Yeah, right. Like, if you're gonna cuss somebody out, be loud about it. Let them know I'm upset. Because if you say it, if you muffle it, I'm not sure if you're mad, if you're just talking.
I'm probably gonna giggle back, like you said. You sniffled a little bit. I'm probably gonna laugh back at you.
Well, the people who are sniffling and laughing at us right now is, of course, we have the Smack. JD the Smack. Smacking people. We have Ryan.
What's up, fella?
And also E.Lund is with us today.
Hello.
And we're talking about pad level and getting cussed out.
That is, wow. I remember only two players that I really got into it with. One former Lion, draft pick right before Randy Moss. We all know who that was. Terry Fair.
Oh, my God. I have a Terry Fair story now. When they drafted Terry Fair, I was writing for the news, and I ripped them. I just said, how can you not pick Randy Moss? You guys crazy. So Ron Hughes, who was, I think at the time was a player personnel director, at the Silverdome, they had a kitchen.
Okay.
In the kitchen, sometimes the coaches would be there, the media would be there. And I knew he had it in for me. And he said, so you think we should have taken Randy Moss? I'm like, yeah, damn Skippy. I said, Terry Fair. I don't even know who Terry Fair is. I just know he's a tiny cornerback. And he says, oh, man, once this guy starts returning punts and kickoffs, man, you're going to regret those words. This is a big – Ron Hughes told me he's a big play guy. And I said, well, what about Randy Moss? Because I got to see Randy Moss not only on TV, but I got to see him play live because he was playing the Mid-American Conference. Here's what he told me about Randy Moss. He's not going to make it big in this league because he has alligator arms. And I said, I'd like the alligator on my team.
Yeah, I'll take them alligator arms any day.
Yeah, he just said, he's not tough. He's got alligator arms. We regret having. He's got a bad attitude. All this stuff. And I said, this is what the Lions lack. You get all these guys with quote unquote good attitudes who can't play. I said, bring in some guy who's a jerk.
Well, football, you're supposed to be kind of an ass a little bit, man. You got to be pissed off, you know what I mean?
That's why I wasn't against him getting sued. Okay, you had a jerk.
Yeah, it's a different switch to turn
but
on.
he was a jerk that didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe Randy Moss wouldn't want to be here either. Who knows? But that's what I was told about Randy Moss. Alligator arms, and he was soft.
Hall of Fame.
Right. But getting back to that story, it was after the Monday night game against St. Louis, 35-0. Dennis Miller was going through his comedy routine because it was a blowout.
Sure.
The Silverdome crowd was chanting, "Let's go Red Wings" in the middle of a Lions game.
Oh, nice.
Now, you got cussed up about Terry Fair?
Afterwards, I admit now it was a wrong question to ask. So, I set the question up, and I just said, "Did you quit?"
That's a rough question to ask somebody after a loss.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to set that one up, brother.
Well, that was my first year. That was year one.
All right. They hate hearing that.
Yeah.
Right. Now I know.
Okay.
I didn't know then.
All right.
I'm.
You're a rookie kid.
I was
a cub.
I was a little rookie, and it was an embarrassment. 35-0. Monday Night Football, national
So you
TV
said
audience.
This is Terry Fair.
Yeah.
And what was his reaction?
What the beep did you mean? And I just went through it. 35-0. Crowd is checked out. They're chanting, "Let's go Red Wings." Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, I'm about 3 inches taller than you, and I outweigh you by at least 50 pounds. If you want to go, we can go.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but he's got muscles, man. If you
I
smack
know.
him, he'll smack you back, just to let you know.
So, we separated, and then a couple days later, I did go over to the Dome, and we talked it out.
Okay.
Wouldn't you love to bump into that guy who told you about Moss? Wouldn't you love to?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man, remember what you told me?
Yeah. Oh, no. I ran into him afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And we talked about it again.
Okay.
I was like, Randy Moss, alligator arms and stuff. He said, he just threw his hands up.
It looks pretty good. Yeah.
I'll tell you another time I almost got into it in the locker room. And this is with a guy I was cool with. It was Brett Pearman. When he played, he was wide receiver for the Lions. And what happened was Brett Perriman, it was Herman Moore and Johnny Morton.
Johnny Morton.
Yeah.
Lethal duo right there.
Perriman would get left out sometimes. He's like, I need the football. So he cornered me in the locker room and said, hey, man, I'm not getting the ball enough. I'm ready to break out, blah, blah, blah. So I wrote a column saying they're going to Tampa. I said, hey, what about Brett Perriman? Brett Perriman is speedy. He's quick. Get him the football. Well, what happened in that game was the Lions were down 4 points. They had the ball. Pass to Brett Perriman. Of course, he fumbles. Tampa recovers, and they run the clock out. Afterwards, in Tampa, there are Lion fans at the top of the stadium over where the players came out throwing rotten fruit and vegetables at the players as they walked off the field. And I described that scene in a column that I wrote for the news, and I said, most of the rotten tomatoes and pears and lettuce, whatever you had, should have been directed at Brett Perriman, who demanded the ball and in his biggest moment failed.
He didn't like that.
He didn't like that at all. The next day, Brett Perriman is looking for me.
Oh, I bet.
And they told me, say, man, Brett wants to see you. Some of the players, and of course I played dumb. So what for? I said, he didn't like what you wrote today. I'm like, all right, cool. So Brett is screaming at me, come over here, you no good SOB. And so what he's going to do is he's going to get his boys from Miami to come up and kick my ass. And I'm like, bring them. I said, I'm not afraid of Miami people. I'll bring my boys from Detroit, which I didn't have any thugs, to kick their ass and yours too. So I had to jump bad and everything. Of course, I didn't have a posse, but that's what happens sometimes. So we yelled at each other all day, and like within a week we were cool. He said, "Hey man, what's up, T. Foster?" I said, I'm fine. So your boys coming up here? I said, no, I called them off.
Yeah.
So we're good. I said, you don't have a plane from Miami coming up, do you? He said, oh, no, we good.
Did you see that little scuffle with Michael Irvin and Stevie Smith by any chance?
I saw that.
Michael Irvin was making fun of him. It sounded like he was making fun of him before, and they made fun of his pants. And to me, it looked like Steve Smith was dead serious. I'm going to kick your ass next time I see you. And it looked dead serious.
Sometimes you get on somebody's joke. You think you're joking around,
Yeah.
but then they give you that stare like, no, I'm not playing. You're like, okay.
It's that thing of the poke the bear. You poke the bear a couple too many times, you're going to bite back.
It's either it's on or you got to back off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you got to make that decision.
And Irvin decided to put another layer of cheese on that with the pants comment. So.
Right, absolutely. Now, Smack, what about the motherland? Are we going to reclaim the motherland?
Oh my God, Terry, guys, and I was switching back and forth between the Detroit mayoral debate and the World Series, and closing comments. Joe Loving, which changed his name to Coleman Young II.
Yeah, his name is not Coleman Young. He goes by Coleman Alexander Young II. His name is Joe Loving.
Joe Loving.
I never knew that.
That would not work.
So said that we wanted to take back the motherland. I didn't know he was running for the overseer of the continent of Africa.
Now, Detroit is the motherland. Here's what's happening in Detroit. Here's what he's trying to do. He's trying to run a 1970s campaign in 2017. What he's trying to appeal to is black people who don't want to vote for Mike Duggan simply because he's white. There's black people in Detroit that say, hey, look, whites have come in and taken over downtown. They're taking over our city.
State took Belle Isle from them.
State's got Belle Isle.
Well,
the
city council approved that lease.
Right.
The state didn't take it.
They're giving Dan Gilbert billions of dollars. They're going to give Tom Gore's millions of dollars to bring the Pistons back. So we got to take our stuff back. And what angers Detroiters is like downtown is great, but they say Detroiters are not getting jobs. Detroiters are paying taxes and they're not benefiting with jobs for all this growth that's downtown. So Coleman Young comes in and says, let's take back the motherland.
Yeah, when I heard that, my head almost exploded. And the election night, the polls close at 8:00. By 10:15, Hewell Perkins will be on Channel 2 saying that the election is over, and he'll call it for the incumbent mayor, Mike Duggan.
Well, since no one votes in Detroit, he might call that at 8:30.
See, I was given at least an hour and a half.
Okay, all 2,000 votes are in, and we're going to call Mike Duggan the winner of Detroit's mayoral
They're going
campaign.
to hold off until the 10 o'clock newscast for sure. They're not. They will do
For
whatever they
ratings?
can.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. I can see that.
Yeah, for sure. Haven't heard him get on TV for the ratings?
Yeah, I
of course.
And the Free Press will call it for Coleman Young, like they did for Hillary.
Well, Dewey won too, didn't he? Back
Oh,
in the
Dewey
day.
defeats Truman.
Yeah.
So when I first heard that, I just you don't do that in 2017. That's not the type of election that we want to have run here.
Right. That is almost like that. That's the equivalent of Trump saying, "Make America Great
Yes,
Again."
is the
And-
local equivalent to MAGA.
Yeah. So some people say, well, what does he mean? Make
It was
America
wrong
great
then.
again.
It's wrong now.
And I would say, when was America great? If you're trying to make it great again, when was it great?
And where was I when it was great?
Right.
And then whose perspective are you getting the great from? Because, yeah, that group of people may have thought it was great, but that other group of people, they never thought it was particularly
Correct.
great for them.
So that's what bring back the motherland. Let's take the motherland meant in my mind with Coleman or Joel Loving.
Joel Loving. Joel Loving approves this message.
So you didn't know that, did you, Ryan?
No, I
His
did
name
not
was
know
Joel
that.
Loving.
I did not know that.
Can't
I
even
swear.
balance his own campaign finances well enough to maintain an internet presence. Like, his website gets shut down. He's not paying his people. So if you're not paying your campaign people, do I think you can manage the books of a municipality correctly? The answer is no.
Right. And the other thing, even though we can be in disagreement with this, is Detroit on the way back, or are there two Detroits? You can at least say that Detroit today is better than it was when Duggan took over. I enjoy going downtown. Now, the neighborhoods are still a disaster to me, but the thing that I picked up from the debate is that there are some improvements in the neighborhoods outside of downtown Detroit
Yes.
that they want to do $700 million projects. And I've seen developments around Ford Hospital on the east side. I've seen some developments. So maybe now he's going to focus on that. But let me warn you, when I was a toddler, when I was a child, and started reading newspapers and started watching the news, I was a teenager. I was told then, and this is like 40, 30 years ago, we're going to build downtown and the neighborhoods are next. Well, that was 30 years ago, and the neighborhoods is still a disaster. So when are the neighborhoods actually going to pick up?
And why is that, you think? Because they don't make the money off the neighborhoods? Really? I mean,
Yeah, they don't make the neighborhood.
Right.
I think Detroit needs the Property Brothers more than they need
we
Dan
put some
Gilbert
lights
right
out
now.
for you right now. That's fine, right? Some traffic
Yeah.
lights and some street lights.
Well, one
and,
thing Duggan says, well, we're picking up the garbage and the traffic and the street lights are
Oh,
on.
well, thanks. Appreciate
That's
it.
fine,
Yeah.
but that's not good enough.
Well, I mean, you're
Appreciate
supposed
that.
to pick up the garbage, and the lights are supposed to be
Yeah.
on.
Right.
Don't pat your back over stuff that you're supposed to do every day.
I mean, I get everywhere you go, there's going to be bad cities. And you can't physically have a post that everyone making sure they pick up their own mess around their homes. But you're right, they can go out there and fix the sidewalks and fix the roads where potholes aren't everywhere and help people's commute to
Build,
get back. Yeah,
build some houses.
yeah, yeah.
I will say
Some
I-
nice homes.
I have noticed through driving around as much as I do in the city, and I actually lived in New Center for a couple of years, like 10 years ago. There's progress in that neighborhood. They are tearing down buildings at a faster clip. Buildings that had been there for a long time when I lived there have now been razed. They're gone. They're mowing grass at a better average. I know those are bare minimum things once again, but still, it is progress.
yeah,
It is. Now they had those condos on Woodward past West Grand Boulevard.
Yes.
But and they look nice.
Yeah, they look-
But here's the deal. I don't want to take one step off my property because it's a disaster area outside of those condos.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to be jailed up in my house
And basically, that's what you're
everything
doing.
around-
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you go a block north, you don't want to be there at night.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, when
Or
you,
south.
when you do leave, you have to go a distance to get anything done. I want to go grocery shopping. Well, I got to drive back in the suburbs. I need to buy a new flat panel television. You're going to the suburbs. You just can't go
Absolutely.
in the city. So that's part of the problem, too, is when I need provisions of any sort, I'm going back in the suburbs.
When I was a child, I used to play tennis at Northwestern High School with
Yep.
my friend Big Mac. We used to, and then when we ran out of tennis balls, we had to go to Southfield, Livonia, Novi, just to get a can of tennis balls. You cannot buy tennis balls in the hood. It was impossible.
Big shout out to Livonia Franklin, the big upset on Wall Lake Western over the weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, big shout out. Wall Lake Western was a favorite to go all the way.
So your boys lost too,
And
Wall Lake Central.
Central got beat up really bad by Lakeland, which they beat Lakeland. Lakeland was a big team. They beat them the first game of the year, but that don't mean too much. 52-14, I think.
Well,
it was.
my son B is happy because West Bloomfield avenged a loss to Bloomfield Hills, beat them 31-6.
You know who they got next round by any chance?
I do not know. I told him, you don't want to play Cass Tech. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of your boys. There's a fine ball club, but you don't want to play Cass Tech.
Not in playoff football time.
No,
No.
you don't at all. Let me. I'll say this: if you like this podcast, if you like Ryan and the Smack and E.Lund here, at terryfoster.blog, I have a contribution button. If you want to donate, because I want to get these guys paid, because I appreciate them coming over and trying to help me out with my podcast. But I want to pay these guys. I also want to do some things for charity. So if you can go to terryfoster.blog, push the donation button. You can use your MasterCard, Visa, whatever. Whatever you want to contribute, we're fine. From $1 to $1 million, we'll take it all. So, and also I'm doing a couple things for charity. There's one charity I've been doing things the last 3 or 4 years called Heart to Heart. And what Heart to Heart does is they go out to downtown Detroit and they pass out food, socks, scarves, hats to the homeless.
Awesome.
And they also have a homeless shelter. There's no middleman. They just, whatever they get, they take and they go out and distribute it. I also have a friend named Melissa who runs the Enchanted Barn, which is close to Monroe. And what she does, she rescues animals. She loves animals. She has a barn there. She has a farm. But she also has inner city kids come out and to take care of the animals. And I think she has prisoners and other people. And her philosophy is this: if you can take time out to care for an animal, then you're not going to be in front of a judge, which I really, really respect. So those are the two charities that I want to contribute to also. So go to terryfoster.blog, push on the donation button, and try to help us out. We'd appreciate it. Whatever you contribute. If you just want to listen to our blog, that's cool with me too. I am Terry Foster for the Terry Foster Boombayey Podcast.
And the Harbaugh were if he wasn't ready, and if we wanted to bring him in, we had to bring him against a weaker team, which you're in Big Ten football land. He should have came in versus Michigan State right away. When Acorn threw his fourth interception, it was time to see what Peters is all about. Because again, like we were just saying, maybe that defense would have been like, backup quarterback, got a new game plan coming in, and something worked then.
State did not look good against
No.
Minnesota's backup quarterback, who was their starter, but they weren't prepared for him. They may not have been prepared for Peters either.
I mean, honestly, I really don't get what the way. That's everyone. They weren't ready, and Harbaugh wanted to ease him in. Penn State would have destroyed him. It's just I hate hearing those excuses because that's what they are, right? Excuses. You got signed to play big football. It's time to come play. Smack.
It was about time.
Yeah, right.
You know, when you have, as you said earlier, O'Korn sticking up the joint against Penn State and Michigan State, you should have brought him in. And at this point, it's survival of the fittest. And if you're not ready to play, you got to move on to the next man up.
You don't belong on the team.
No, you don't.
And there's something wrong with the coaching that you're not prepared.
That's a valid point.
Particularly when you're getting that bad of quarterbacking. You brought in two guys.
Damn straight.
And they were both bad.
Your guys too.
Right.
Yeah, your guys.
Now Peters is your guy.
Wait, and McCaffrey's your guy. Yeah, you're right. But you brought a point of they weren't coached and prepared. And I go back to that bye week, right? You had a week. They knew that Spate was out before we did. They knew it. So how was Peters not? I don't want to hear about the rain and the mud and the cold because they knew it was going to rain that day. How was he not ready?
You know, he probably was ready. But here's what happens with coaches. They want to give the incumbent as many chances to fail as possible. And I think he's looking at this, well, this is my veteran here. This is who we picked. So we're going to stick with him. We're going to show that we just don't abandon you right away. So, Peters, you got to sit.
Do you think sometimes Harbaugh's arrogance gets in the way of his wins a little bit?
I think it often gets in the way of his wins. Yes, not sometimes. No, not a little bit. Not maybe. It's often. Yeah. He's an arrogant guy. But the reason he's arrogant is because of the fan base. The fan base who's starting to turn on him a little bit. Finally.
The clock has started.
Yes. I mean, it has.
The clock started. He can't do any wrong. He's the best coach in the Big Ten after Urban Meyer. Michigan is about to explode. Harbaugh left the NFL to come home. They believe all that stuff, and they think you put all that together, and it's going to turn Michigan into a powerhouse. Right now, in year 3 of him being the head coach of Michigan, Michigan is a second-tier Big Ten team. Yeah. The first tier is Penn State and Ohio State. They dominate the conference. And if you want to make a point and say Wisconsin is kind of the second tier by themselves, you could make that point. Yeah. But I look at Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Iowa, maybe Northwestern. Yeah, Northwestern as just a group of good teams. But they're in that third tier. Nothing great, nothing bad, but, solid ball clubs that can beat you every week. Yeah. That's where Michigan is. It's not elite.
So they're in that second tier of schools.
Third tier. I'm going to put Penn State, Ohio State as that elite tier or that first tier. Then maybe Wisconsin by itself in that second tier.
I would put Ohio State by itself because they actually won a title. Penn State hasn't won nothing yet. Until they do, I wouldn't put them in with Ohio State.
They were in the Big Ten title game, and they lost to Ohio State by 1.
Another thing I hate this year, and again, I'm a Michigan guy, love the Wolverines, and a lot of our excuses people love to use is, they lost so much. The defensive backs all new. We lost all them guys. What the hell did we win last year then with them? We win nothing.
You finished third in the division.
So we had them last year, and what did we do? We didn't do a damn thing. So we're doing the same exact thing in year 3 that Harbaugh did last year. Awesome.
Well, things have changed since the 70s, and that's what people reference. Harbaugh has no. Harbaugh has Michigan in the same spot that Bo Schembechler did. Think about this. They win 10 games most years, which Bo did. They lose the big games. Bo didn't have to worry about a Big Ten championship game. He didn't have to worry about Michigan State because Michigan State was so pathetic back then. Harbaugh has Michigan winning 10 games just about every year, but when you come up against the big boys, you get throttled or you lose.
I mean, I don't see just because Peters came in that light switching on and then all of a sudden figuring out against Ohio State. Then we figured out.
No, I don't see that. Yeah. It was against Rutgers, but here's what I did see. I saw players play harder on Michigan. I think what players subconsciously, they knew Peters was the guy. And once they brought him in and said, this is our guy. Yeah. We're going to play harder. We're going to run harder. We're going to block harder because this is the guy that should be leading us all along, not O'Korn.
No, you're
and
right.
They're never going to say it to your face. But a lot of times in the athletics, players tell you how they feel just by the way they play and by the way they perform.
Not a lot of times.
And they perform like, we want to play for this guy.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. Even in middle school, dang straight, it's
right.
Once they're chirping, and once they see the guy who they want up, It's just the light switch. Everything clicks. Everything works a lot better.
It's our man.
Yeah,
Ready
it's our
to go.
guy.
Right.
And you're right. And out there were like, oh, we're not going to block for a corn. We'll let this guy get cremated. They just knew who their guy was.
No, they blocked for a corn, but when Peters came in, they went to another level.
Yeah. Better chance of winning, right?
Right.
Yeah, better chance of winning.
Right. This is our guy.
Now, does Peter, we're not saying Ohio State, but it gives them a little bit of chance against Wisconsin, maybe? Intriguing.
It does give them a chance against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Puncher's chance, but I think they'll lose that game. They'll be 8-4 this year. They'll go to a
God,
bowl.
that sounds so annoying.
Well, they'll go
They'll
to
go
a
to
bowl.
Capital One Bowl.
Maybe play Mississippi State or something like that. Win that, be 9-4.
Yeah.
It'll be a solid little ball club.
It's not a solid ball club. Not at all. No, not at all.
Well, that would disappoint you as a Michigan fan.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're looking every year.
They have to beat Ohio State for you
Yeah.
for this season to be a success.
Yes. Beat Ohio State, and I'll go, okay. You know, suck we lost first Michigan State and Penn State, but yeah, we beat Ohio State. I'm all right with it.
You're not beating that team. Sorry.
I'm going to go that again Sunday, but.
From that performance they did on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Or Saturday, I mean, sorry.
Yeah. You know, this past Saturday, coming back against the school I hate the most, besides Notre Dame.
Everyone was
Penn
crying
State.
that the refs were in. There was a fix that game.
Oh, come on. No.
Marty. Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, the fix was in.
Oh, God. That's almost as bad as Spartan Bob.
Yeah.
On Sparty Bob with the clock.
Yes. Conspiracy.
Well,
I'm sorry. J.T. Barrett owns Penn State University.
He owns college football, period. And he was damn good.
now you hate Penn State, Notre Dame.
Yes.
Now you know when the Big Ten expands, the Notre Dame
No.
should be that team that they add in.
They had their chance.
So they're done.
They're done.
They're
dead to me. Yes, done. As far as Big Ten expansion, no. Sorry.
Ryan?
There will be no resurrection.
No.
here.
Sorry.
If there's a
Touchdown, Jesus.
If you're bringing another team in, you bring in Rudy Rudiger and Notre Dame, and you line them up. Oh, for sure. I want to see Notre Dame playing Michigan. I want to beat that game. Yeah.
Play a team that you hate every year? Doesn't that add to the schedule?
It does, but here, I'm looking at not just for Michigan and our hatred of other teams. I'm looking at the Big Ten as a whole. For the betterment of the Big Ten as a whole, I'll give you two teams, Texas, Oklahoma.
Notre Dame would be better than both of those. If for the better of Big Ten.
Doesn't Texas stink? Now, doesn't Texas lost its allure?
But they had Vince Young.
No, but
Yeah, that's what I
Texas,
had here.
Yeah.
Texas is a national brand, and you look, and it solidifies the Big Ten West. Could you imagine the division with Texas, Oklahoma, and Nebraska? Those wars rekindling every year in the Big Ten West to solidify
That'd be
that
fine.
I mean, you give me Oklahoma. I'll give you Oklahoma all day. I would.
Okay.
I'm not.
But those two have to come in as a package. You can't have Oklahoma without Texas.
I want Notre Dame more. I do.
But how about every year you have Notre Dame, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan?
No, because they will put
Notre Dame, Michigan State.
No, they will put Notre Dame in the Big Ten West.
I know, but you can still play them every year.
Because I look at
Or
Notre
most
Dame's
years.
that other team where when you walk around the town, it's Michigan State shirts, Ohio State shirts, and Notre Dame shirts. That's what your rival is around, at least here. I mean, that's so. Yeah, I want to play Notre Dame more.
But
I
That's
want
really
to beat
centric
them
to
up.
just us.
Well,
What
hey,
about-
that's,
Oh, no, I get that, but you're trying to be
We're
national.
being selfish.
No,
Here
I
in
understand.
Michigan, we hate Notre Dame.
But I'm going
Bring
with
them in.
Snack's
I want-
idea here is that you're not going to see Notre Dame T-shirts walking over in Texas and Oklahoma and stuff like that. I mean, maybe a few, but not like it is here. And I think you're onto something.
All right, not to
with
be
Texas
rude,
and
I
Oklahoma.
don't care. I don't care if you don't see Notre Dame T-shirts in Oklahoma.
is it the fact Notre Dame's just scared to get in the Big Ten football?
Well, see, they've
They're
had
more
their
comfortable in the
chances.
ACC.
They've had their chances to get in the Big Ten, and they chose the ACC. They chose unwisely.
Well, a weaker, and that's why they think they'd be the big dogs over there, right?
Right.
And that's why they went.
And when you look back, Penn State was supposed to come in to the Big Ten and dominate. It didn't happen. Nebraska was supposed to come into the Big Ten and dominate. It didn't happen. I think Notre Dame is fearful that that's going to happen again. They'll be in the middle of the pack, finishing ahead of Purdue and Indiana, and just be, another big boy. But I would love to see them in the Big Ten. I know that they've dogged the Big Ten and they've said no and
Oh,
no
yeah.
and no, but I'm talking about selfishly.
Terry, here I'll give you another
best
example
for this state.
I'll give you another example. Years and years you went after this girl. This girl kept saying no to you. Do you keep going after her?
How fine is she?
Hey.
She's Notre Dame.
Hey.
Yes.
Sometimes
it's for the better.
Sometimes you may
of the
have to say,
conference.
I have to move on.
She's the girl in the dorm from the story in a previous.
Oh, that. Oh man. Well, I stopped chasing her after she used that word, so maybe you have to say no. But
because I think Notre Dame, in a way, is saying the word losers about the Big Ten conference.
I think they're more scared. I do.
That's what they're calling. You guys are losers. So that's why they don't want to. That's why.
Well, Notre
they don't
Dame
wanna
is not
join.
exactly a powerhouse. They're having a
Anymore.
nice season this year, but they're not exactly a powerhouse.
When was the last time Notre Dame won a title?
I can't even tell you. It's
Yeah.
been a long
They
time.
played for one a few years ago.
And got stomped.
Yeah, they had no business being there.
Right.
90s?
Yeah, Notre Dame hasn't been anything in a while. Golden Tate.
No. It's a name. It's a
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
But it's a name that gets us fired up here in the state of Michigan. Because they stopped playing Michigan, and Michigan State and Notre Dame have had that rivalry too.
I just
That'd
love
be
playing
cute.
against them.
I mean, just for all the years they've said we're not good enough for them, fine.
Yeah.
So you hurt. You butt hurt.
No.
No, you butt hurt.
No.
Say it. You are butt hurt.
No.
My butt hurt.
I found two other teams that are just as good.
I don't
They're a
know.
million miles away.
Not a million miles away. We have things called jet airplanes.
Yeah, I know you do, but man, you're gonna fly out the.
You're flying
women's-
to New York.
But how does Texas really fit into Big Ten football?
How does Rutgers fit in the
Well,
Big Ten football?
Very good point.
I'm with you on that.
Rutgers should not be in the Big Ten. They're talking about, we got the New York market. New York doesn't give a damn about
Nope.
Rutgers.
They don't give a
They don't
damn.
even know that Rutgers exists.
That's why Rutgers is out and Notre Dame's in. That's just a lovely wedding right there.
No, I like my plan. You add two teams that give you an even 16 powers on each in each division.
Texas is not a power anymore. It's a name.
Couple
Texas has stunk for quite a while now.
couple players away.
That's what I keep hearing about the Lions.
Yeah, that's what I was
Players
about to
away.
say. Oh man, Jim Conwell
And a couple
Yeah.
coaches away too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I hear you now. Folks, I want to remind you, if you want to listen to the Boombayey Podcast, which hopefully you're doing right now, that go to Facebook
Yes.
and look
Just search for the Boombayey Podcast with Terry Foster, BOOMBAYEY.
There's no Y at the end.
There is now.
Okay.
We're doing it phonetically for everyone.
Well,
Oh, this is baloney.
Boombayey is a takeoff of the word Boombayey, which the crowd screamed in Africa when Ali
Right.
was fighting George Foreman. So it was Ali Boombayey. There's no Y at Boombayey. I added a B because I just thought it sounded cool. So it's Boombayey.
Give your special little kick on it.
Right.
Yeah.
I created my own word.
Boom.
Yeah.
Which
Baye.
I talked to a guy who's from Africa, and he claims that Boombayey means blanket, which means we got you covered.
Got you
here.
covered. Got
Right?
you covered. Like
Bam.
it. I like it. There's your little slogan.
Okay, so you go to Facebook and look for what?
Boombayey Podcast with Terry Foster.
Okay. Or go to terryfoster.blog, and we're not on iTunes yet. Is that
No,
correct?
we're working on it.
We're working on
We're
iTunes.
going to get on iTunes, Stitcher, all your major podcast providers.
Okay. And we're not on, what's the other thing?
I think you said we're on YouTube,
Google
right?
Play? We're on YouTube.
We are on YouTube. Look
now,
up
what-
Boombayey Podcast on YouTube, and you will find it up there. You can listen that way, and you can even download your YouTube videos, too, and take them with you.
okay.
Won't be able to see how handsome we are yet, but
No, not yet.
That's gonna come. And they don't see my beautiful basement here.
But that's part of, donating, too. If you donate, we can get more gear, and you can see beautiful Terry Foster in his beautiful home.
Hello.
Hello.
And you see Ryan and why all the women at the gym love him.
Whoa.
Hey now.
See those big hands by the smack and how you don't want to be smacked by this guy?
There's no reason to ever see me, but other than that, yes, please donate so we can.
Yes, there is.
So
You pick him up in a car, Uber.
That's
so
right.
there is a way to see you, bud.
Tip you.
Yeah.
There's a way to see me that way, but yeah, it's to no one's advantage to see me in the podcast.
Oh.
But yeah, we can get more gear and better gear. The podcast sounds better, and we can get it out to more people, and more people listening is good for everyone.
Right. And also, if you donate, it's terryfoster.blog. We have a donation button there. I can probably pay these guys, and so they won't abandon me one day. They say, hey, T-Foss, I haven't got any money, so we're out of here. So we want to keep this podcast together. So go to terryfoster.blog. Push the donation button, whatever you want to give, from a few dollars to $1 million if you want to. Tom Gores, are you listening? You can do that, and we can keep things going. And also, I'm working with 2 charities. One is Heart to Heart, and what Heart to Heart does, I've been working with them for 3 years, is they give homeless people food, socks, hats, coats, and blankets. And I'll tell you how I got involved in Heart to Heart. When I used to cover the Lions for the Detroit News, I'd write my little column ripping the Lions. I would walk to my car, and there was these, you know how they have the steam things, and the steam's coming out the ground and everything? I would see people sleeping by the steam pipes to stay warm in the winter. And I felt bad for them, and so I started a campaign where we were able to donate blankets, and we gave some blankets to Heart. I can't imagine being cold in the winter and have nowhere to go. That just really bothered me.
Yeah.
And so I started with them. And also I'm working with my friend Melissa, who I have lunch with now and then. She has the Enchanted Barn. She rescues animals, not just dogs and cats, but she rescued a 500-pound pig in Detroit, believe it or not.
Awesome.
That's some good bacon.
Yeah, good. No. I think the pig's name is Tessie, and they're taking care of the pig. And the other thing she does, she has inner city youth that come out and care for the animals. And her philosophy is this: if you care enough to care about animals, to take care of them, and want to do things for them, then you're not going to be in front of a judge committing a crime. So we're donating to those 2 charities. So go to terryfoster.blog and push the donation button. And I'm going to blog more on terryfoster.blog.
There you go. And if you do donate that $1 million, if you heard our third podcast talking about that island, you're definitely invited. So donate.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're going to have the island.
Yeah, you're invited.
I'm going to have the train.
You'll be on the train.
And
yeah,
Smack,
yeah.
the pilot over here, is going to be flying his Lear jet all over the place.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hopefully not like the Oklahoma City Thunder. Did you see that the other day? Their plane had a bird strike.
I'm about to say, what was that?
It was actually the bird hit. The
Bird
plane.
strikes are dangerous.
The plane hit the bird while it was probably about 30,000 feet in the air, and the whole nose cone was dented in.
We're probably gonna say that bird didn't make it.
Yeah, I don't think the bird survived.
Isn't that what happened to Sully, who
yes.
landed the plane
on
in the Hudson River?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the birds went through the engine. The engine fought it out,
Oh, jeez.
and that's why he had to crash land.
This is Terry Foster for the Smack, Ryan, and E.Lund, the Terry Foster Podcast. Peace out.
Cool.
Hello, everybody. Terry Foster here for the Terry Foster Boombayey Podcast. And guess what's coming up, fellas? Halloween. Now, we're all too old to trick or treat. As we look at
Speak for yourself.
Yeah,
You're too old. You can't go out there trick or treating. However, if I gave you a goodie bag and you can have 2 candy bars from trick or treating, what would your 2 candies of choices be?
Now it has to be the candy bars, or can they be the candy of choice, like you just said there? Of everything that you'd hand
candy
out.
of choice.
Okay.
Hand out. You can only have 2. What would it be?
Well, the Reese cup for one,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
and you know I like the Jolly Rancher.
You take a cup over the pieces?
Yes.
Okay. Reese's Pieces are pretty good too.
All right, here's my 2. I've always loved Almond Joys
Oh my God.
and Snickers.
Snickers.
You
hey,
can
those
have
are
all
my
my
2.
almond joys.
yeah,
You can have all
Almond
of
Joys are
them.
the ones that my kids get them. We're like, all right, we're gonna put these back in our hand them back out.
My kids, when they come back for trick or treat, when they used to trick or treat, they're too old for it too. They would always take out the Almond Joys and Snickers and give them to dad.
Oh,
Yep.
Snickers are killer.
And have you froze one?
Oh yeah.
Put them in the freezer. Yep.
Anytime, Kit Kats, Twix, Snickers, they're sitting in the refrigerator.
I love
nice and
Kit Kats.
Cool. Oh yeah. Mine, Twix all day. I think Twix is great.
Left Twix or right Twix?
I'll take them both. I'm not too picky. I'm gonna go off the chocolate round, and I'm a huge fan of Skittles, man. Give me some of them Skittles. Oh, I love them Skittles.
Okay, Marshawn.
Hey, they're good.
See, I'm not a big Skittles fan, but they're cool.
Oh, they're good.
all
Snickers bar, of course, and peanut butter cups way over the pieces. Always with the peanut butter
Oh
cups.
man, I don't know. I'm a huge
But
fan.
speaking of Halloween, I was at a Halloween party last night, and there's a great Cards for Humanity card which says mixing Skittles and M&Ms together like some sort of sociopath. That would be a great thing to hand out to kids trick or treating. Would be a sealed bag of M&Ms and Skittles.
right. What about M&Ms, Skittles, and pretzels with a little salt?
Okay, that actually might be good.
Well, that's basically the M&M pretzel with the Skittle and
Right.
wow.
Damn, that
Unbelie-
works.
Yeah, handful at the same time.
Okay.
Any of you guys those candy corn fans?
God, no.
I hate those
And
things.
it's crazy to hear that those are like some of the most popular candy here in
Yes.
Michigan.
I thought they were
Girlfriend
the
of her-
most popular.
Kids love that.
I don't get that at all.
But I just read something interesting. If you mix your candy corn with salted peanuts, it tastes like a Payday bar.
Paydays are good.
You know, Payday was too weird for me because you'd have the stuff, everything was on the inside and the peanuts are on the outside. I just couldn't get with that. Just the look.
Back in your trick-or-treating days,
Mm-hmm.
have anything ever happened to you out there? For my example, I grew up in Westland, all right? When all these stories always stuck in my head. It was 6th grade. I was Steve Urkel for Halloween that year. And it's getting close to the end of the night. And a car pulls up. I look over. Gun comes out to paint, and they freaking paintballed me in my leg. So when I fell, my bag of candy.
Oh, you got shot trick or
I
treating?
got 6th grade.
Damn.
Got boom, shot in the leg.
The mean streets of Westland.
Dude with the passengers or the back seat was gonna come out and get my candy, and old man come flying out the front porch. Get out of here! And they cocked out. Still got my candy, but I had a welt on the side of my
Oh, you
leg
poor
from
thing.
being paintballed, man.
See, I never had anything happen to me, but friends of mine, somebody put a razor blade
Ah,
in their apple.
That's real cool.
You see, we never took anything. We would take it and we just toss it.
We would always be in my neighborhood with people we knew. We would never stray outside of it.
Yeah.
I've
But
never
that
heard
doesn't
anything
happen
like that.
anymore.
I'm-
That's really nasty.
What was it today? I read. God, I'm probably get the state completely wrong, but they were doing some trick or treating thing, and some clown ass was putting his Starburst or whatever, the package, in gasoline, giving the kids. I mean, really?
It's probably in Colorado.
I mean,
they do weird stuff there.
I don't get why someone gets a kick out of doing something
Hurting
like that.
people, yeah.
I mean, that doesn't.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so that's
The
what's gonna.
stupidity of people.
Well, that's what's gonna ruin it, for everybody else. Honestly,
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. Now, what was your favorite Halloween costume that you wore?
Urkel was awesome. I rocked Steve Urkel out back in the day, great. But I'll probably say, shout out to my mom of the werewolf. She used to do the homemade stuff, was awesome.
that's
She
cool.
homemade me like a werewolf, and that was it.
See, I never had homemade stuff. We'd go to the Halloween store and would just get the cheapest costumes with the little rubber band around the mask that would blast your ears and everything. I think the best one I had was Spider-Man. It wasn't that cute. It wasn't that cool.
It wasn't cool, but it was Spider-Man. It was the one you liked the best. Okay.
Now, which of the naughty costumes do you like the best for the women? They have the naughty cheerleader, the naughty teacher, the naughty witch, the naughty vampire. Mine that turns me on the most, I love the naughty witch. There's something about the little black lipstick and the black hair and everything. You know, your boobs are hanging out and everything. I just love the naughty witch more than any of them. Come on, Smack.
I have no reaction to the naughty witch, but I'll give you mine. It is the naughty schoolgirl. The little Catholic schoolgirl in trouble.
Yeah.
Look.
I mean, I'm not really too picky about anything being naughty. I kind of like
all naughty is good naughty.
As long as naughty, I'm good. For some reason, the naughty cop, with them boots and the handcuffs is hanging right there on the side.
You just like the handcuffs.
Well, let me know at the end of the night.
Yes, I love women in boots, man.
Oh yeah,
that's my weakness.
Oh yeah,
whips and chains.
The little fishnet stockings hanging through.
Not the whips and chains, but I just love women in boots. So yeah, I can.
And mostly they own those breasts are
the naughty
out
witch can wear boots.
I'm with. Oh yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But the cop lady, that's.
Now the naughty schoolgirl wears the high socks.
Yeah.
What about you, E.Lund, the naughty Uber driver?
No.
Yeah.
No, naughty librarian.
Ooh.
Oh, with the glasses?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can get that. I can get with that. Have her read to you?
Yeah, her own story.
Oh.
With you in it.
Yes.
Another one of these, I seen one, the new Harley Quinns, and they get them right. These women looking pretty naughty in there. Where, the high boots, the fishnet stockings, the voluptuous.
So it sounds like we're all naughty guys.
Yeah.
In here,
I'm not gonna be too. She can look like freaking Bozo the Clown, as long as it's naughty.
Now don't go with the naughty clown now with it out, because people are afraid of clowns.
No, we don't do clowns.
Are you afraid of clowns? Some people are.
I wouldn't say I'm afraid of clowns. I just don't like clowns.
Who are clowns for?
I'm annoyed of clowns.
Adults, they find them annoying, or they don't like them, and kids are terrified by them. Who are clowns for at this point?
Well, when I was a kid, I loved Bozo the Clown and Oopsie the Clown. They were nice and friendly. They read.
I not know Bozo, right? I not know Bozo.
No,
Everybody
no.
knows Bozo.
Oh yeah, every morning before you went to school.
Bozo the Clown, man.
Watch the show and have the grand prize game and everything.
I love the clowns.
Isn't it true? Wasn't Bozo the Clown's house kind of over by? Was it Meyer over there or the?
Yeah, it was near here.
Right.
But I heard that Bozo the Clown, at least locally, and Oopsie the Clown were the same people.
Wow, didn't know that.
His name was Bob McVeigh. That's his real name. I probably gave out some tricks.
Oh. Hey, all right. Now back in Halloween. Who's your favorite Halloween character? The Freddy's and all them. Who was your guy?
The Joker.
Joker.
I like the Joker.
It's not really. That's not really a chop 'em up. That's a cartoon Halloween.
Yeah,
guy.
I don't like people that are gonna chop you up and saw you up and that.
I'm a Freddy guy.
I mean, you watch.
I'm more Freddy than Jason.
Yeah. No Leatherface, Michael Myers.
No.
I'm a big fan of Leatherface. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a classic horror and classic American movie.
It's a true story, right? I mean, well,
this is pretty
the
cool.
family.
No, actually, it's based on Ed Gein, and it's a bit of a take off the movie Psycho, which is also based on Ed Gein.
I thought there wasn't really a family in Texas that was chopping people up and taking their faces and wearing them around.
No.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
You know who else is pretty cool?
Would like you to think that.
I like Mumbles from Dick Tracy. Do you know who Mumbles
Hell
is?
yeah, I know Mumbles and Dick Tracy.
Big boy did it.
Yeah. Big boy did it.
Yeah.
So there's actually a really great trolling story before people trolled people, or that's what it was called, with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In the beginning of the movie, they pick up that hitchhiker who's totally crazy and he cuts his hand. Spoilers. And later on, he's part of the family that they encounter, right? Well, all the actors were local to Austin, where they filmed the movie, outside of Austin and Texas, stuff like that. So he would sneak into theaters during screenings of the movie and just sit in the back and then tap people on the shoulder during the movie, hey, how you doing? He got kicked out of every theater.
Well, that would scare the
in that-
daylights out of me.
Straight.
For doing that, but I think it's just genius. It's such a great, like, kind of fun trolling of people.
Has there ever been a movie you couldn't watch or you tried? It was just too scary? Like Poltergeist to me. Oh my god, dude, nightmares forever.
I'm afraid of spooky movies.
Yeah.
I can't watch
There's-
any of them by myself.
The worst movie for me is The Birds.
Oh,
Albert Hammond.
Birds. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a moment I freaked out at Fountain
American
in Chicago. Chicago. Chicago, the fountain in Chicago.
Because the
Yeah,
birds, you thought the
Buckingham,
birds
isn't
were
it?
gonna get you. What's
Yeah.
the was that? Who
And it was
the,
a-
the
it was like
blonde in the
100
birds?
100 birds over me. I was freaking
Freaking
out.
out.
Yeah.
They're coming to get me.
Got to wear a helmet, man.
That and do you remember the movie Trilogy of Terror? There was like one of them. The middle one was they brought this tiki doll home from the island, and the tiki doll came to life, and they put this doll in the oven, and the doll came out.
Well, kind of like Chucky.
Some Tales
Yes.
from the Crypt
I
stuff
hate
right
Chucky.
there. The first one was pretty good. Then they kind of ruined it a little
Yeah.
bit, right? I mean, it was
And
all
they
right.
had the Bride of Chucky.
Oh yeah.
That guy
Chucky
was
The
gets
three.
seed of
laid.
Chucky. They had the
Yeah.
seed of Chucky too.
I couldn't stand
And that's
Chucky.
like now, like how you kind of said, you can't watch them. I used to love horror movies. Michael Myers and Leatherface, anytime. Jason, Freddy, all the time. I mean, that's who I watched. Now you're gonna give me the Saw movie. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna watch that, man. I'm all right.
What people told me, don't watch Saw.
First one was awesome. First one was really good, and now it's just, yeah, I don't feel like seeing someone getting tortured and
No, I mean it was straight up torture. I was like
fall in a pit full of needles and dirt. Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah,
Final Destination.
yeah, oh
The-
yeah. I'm good on
The
that.
Final Destination is just weird. I mean, it's the most unlikely things that could ever happen. There's no way you could be watching a race and a motor comes into the stands and the tire decapitates you and all that kind of stuff. It's so unlikely. It's not even believable.
Walk across the street, bus hit you, slam you across.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, you're done. I wasn't a big Final Destination fan.
No, I
Not
would,
at all.
would not want to be in that movie.
Jeepers Creepers, you ever seen any of those?
No.
No.
I think what lends a lot of credibility to the movies, and we were talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween, is the low budget, because it gives it that cinema verite
yeah.
look, like you're just looking in on something that kind of happened, like maybe like found footage, something like that, and that's what makes it real.
Yeah.
That's what really scares you. Like the Final Destination, that like had a huge budget and it has special effects and all this other stuff. That really takes it away from it. You're
Yeah.
right, because
Right.
you cannot suspend your disbelief enough for these completely outlandish.
A lot of
events.
times, those where you get scared is the thing that doesn't happen. The music gets
Oh,
all
yeah, oh, yeah.
bzz, 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 and you look around the corner and you think something's going to be there, and it's not.
Freaking run, right?
Well,
Now, speaking of spooky,
Blair Witch, great example of that. I remember the
That was
first
low
time
budget.
Low budget. First time I saw it, you're just petrified for the whole thing because you're like, when is the scary thing gonna happen?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like every time they get lost somewhere or they run into something, okay, this is where it gets scary. This is where it gets scary, and it keeps like you on the edge the whole time. And then finally, yeah, it is kind of scary at the end.
Another
The
classic
ending.
scary, Pet Cemetery. You guys ever seen Pet Cemetery?
Yeah,
that was a
long time
That was a
ago.
good. That was a good.
now, have any of you been to Erebus in Pontiac?
Yeah.
Is that real scary?
I heard now it's you might pee your pants a little bit, but I heard it's
I don't
Well,
know.
Eric would.
my hand, oh my god, dude.
I don't know how a haunted house can be scary. Like, you can be startled. I'll give you being startled. But legitimately having fear, how could you? You know the environment.
And you're with people.
But it's
Yeah.
still just the fact of the dude with the chainsaw chasing after you, because it happens, and you don't have the chainsaw on it. It
Yeah,
just,
but I know he's an actor.
but it doesn't. To some people, man, it just got the shit scared out of you. It
like
doesn't
I
matter.
went to the haunted forest and was not scared.
Yeah.
I knew somebody was going to chase me with a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
chainsaw. I knew somebody was going to leap out
Yeah, yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah,
scary.
Exactly.
No, I'm with you. I'm a laugher, but I get some people if they get scared. I get it because you already walk in terrified as hell, and then these guys come out scaring you.
Now, if I'm by myself,
Oh, that ain't happening.
I would be petrified.
Yeah, it
but
ain't
I'm
happening.
with people. I'm holding somebody's hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm good.
I mean, that's same with, totally off the subject of it, but what I don't do is scary movies, and I don't really ride roller coaster rides that much anymore, just because
I don't either.
Yeah.
Those
front
scare
seat,
me.
back seat.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You'll still ride it. You go to Cedar Point right now, and you're
Yeah.
on the 1 in 4s digging it in. Oh, you got the speed pass in the wallet? Here we go. Oh, man.
No, he's in the roller coaster club. Well, he flies a plane.
Roller coaster club. Here we go. That's a juicy nugget we got today. Wow. Yeah, you are Cedar Point Platinum Pass.
Wow.
Holy moly.
What's your favorite roller coaster?
Wow, we got 2 of them here.
I want to take a picture of it. I want to put that.
I was going to say 2 geeks.
Yeah, all right.
No. Right now, Millennium Force is still top coaster for me.
I don't like coasters, but I like the little water things when you go.
Oh, yeah, man. Get me dressed on
Now,
that. Sweet.
Get
Next-
Snake River Falls, whatever it was.
Next season, I'll probably go to Carowinds, which is outside of Charlotte, to ride Fury 325.
So you are a roller coaster.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Yes.
But he has
Yeah.
the pass card in his wallet.
Like you won't go on a wooden roller coaster.
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Because those are old.
No, some of the best rides is. I
What's
mean,
the wooden one there?
Cedar Point actually only has one wooden roller coaster left.
Right. Mean Streak or
No,
something? Or what is that?
Blue Streak.
There you go. Okay.
Mean Streak is actually no longer in existence. It's being transformed into Steel Vengeance.
What's
Well, I
that?
tell you,
Which is a
one thing
hybrid coaster.
I'll never ever go on is Cedar Point, where you go up in the air, that slingshot thing.
So about-
yeah, you go way
I was
up
about
in
to
there,
ask
you
him what
spin
that
around,
is,
and then
yeah.
you come straight down. I will never go on that.
What, Top Thrill Dragster?
Yeah.
120 miles an hour, 420
Oh,
feet
man.
in the air.
We
Done
go
it.
there for anniversary one year, and really didn't know too much about any of these rides. And we get in that, and there was no line. We get up there and didn't see very many people riding it. And we get in the thing, and she hurt her back. The damn car went so fast.
What's it feel like when you're going up in the air?
You just wanted the ride. Oh, me, I wanted the ride to get over with. Now act tough. Oh, yeah, this is awesome. But I'm shitting my pants the whole time.
Now, the first time I rode Millennium Force, because it was 2000, and it was the first time they did an elevator lift system instead of a chain lift system. A lot smoother, a lot faster, and it's immediate climb out the station. And I was like, the first time, what the?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this. Ooh.
I don't even like
Oh,
when
it's
you're
sweet.
going up
I
and
went-
the
yeah.
clicking sound of those.
I
Yeah,
do
you don't
like
hear it
that
on
chain.
Millennium
Yeah,
Force.
yeah,
Yeah.
Click, 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 click. That scares the daylights out of
Now,
me.
you've been to Cedar Point during this Halloween weekend?
Yeah,
though?
actually, I went last Saturday.
Oh, jeez. In the
My neighbors were
rain.
there.
Oh, my God. Wow.
And I didn't know last Saturday that Ohio State was on their bye week, so the entire state of Ohio
was there.
was in Sandusky. So it was like
Along with the smack.
yeah.
Any Buckeyes?
No, actually, I had to be quiet because we were getting our tails kicked by Penn State.
My neighbors are Buckeyes. They went to the Ohio State University.
Man.
They went to Ohio.
They went to Ohio, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
They went there.
Actually, this year I took my daughter on her first roller coaster ride, which was on Gemini. And when Gemini was built, it was the tallest roller coaster in the world. Now it's not as much. She just turned 7.
Wow. I freaking still remember the
And-
drop.
We're riding. She's just sitting there like, this it? I'm like, okay, so you think this is it? All right, come on, let's walk.
Yeah.
So I walked over to Millennium Force. Her daddy was like, that ain't happening. She ain't getting on that.
What's the stand-up one? That
Oh, it's
Mantis or something like that?
Mantis
right?
is actually, they changed Mantis to Wugaru.
It's called Bugatti now?
Wugaru, yep. Because Mantis used to hurt your nuts.
Oh, yeah. And
Because of the
So changing the name doesn't hurt your nut.
No, what they did was they changed it from a stand-up to a floorless. So they have seats.
Nice. Just hanging there, dangling. Raptors.
I know the
Man.
Terry Foster Boombayey Podcast just turned into roller coasters, and
Yeah.
I didn't know you were in that
Yeah.
far into roller coaster.
yeah, that's
Hey.
so. Next season will probably be a travel year for me.
Wow.
So what's the baddest ass roller coaster in the United States?
See, it's hard because I am such a Cedar Fair fan. It would be Cedar Fair heavily. Cedar Fair, I think they have 10 parks across the nation. There are a couple at Six Flags that are okay, but if you want to go and ride and capacity is an issue, I would do the Cedar Fair parks. I mean, my top 5 will probably be Millennium Force, Banshee at Kings Island, Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland, and I still love the Beast.
What about that? It's the Aerosmith ride at is Universal Studios in Disney World. You ever been on that one?
Yeah, I mean, even the Orlando parks are kind of mad at me.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't really do it for me.
Okay.
That's beneath you. All right. This is the Terry Foster Boombayey Podcast, roller coaster edition.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Put on your dirty costumes.
Ooh, piece of candy. 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 Ooh, a piece of candy.